got to know everything or adhere to the God who does know all things?
First of all, what's wrong with appealing to absurdity?
Lesson 10, tools of the trade. All right, so these are just going to be some 3 useful tools I've used in open air preaching. And we'll talk a little bit more about how to deal with a toxic heckler. I knew it was going to come up, I just didn't know when it was going to come up in the lesson. Okay? All right. So the first thing I use is dry erase board. Okay? This is your sign, but it can change. All you got to do is wipe it down, start over. We've used, I think, 3 different questions since we've been here the past 2 days here in Charlotte. We have used, are you going to go to heaven when you die? Yes or no. Does God exist? Yes or no. And yesterday we used, what do you and NASCAR drivers have in common? Question. And we had, I think, 3 people come up and, what in the world, what do you mean by that question? The question is provocative. Why is it provocative? To pull people in, to help not prolong, but to help initiate the conversation that we're going to have with them, right? And one guy worked for NASCAR?
Yeah.
So can you briefly just quickly tell that story just for a moment?
No, I was preaching and he came up and he read the sign and he was confused by it. He was like,
Good.
We all earn a living, we all have a roof over our head. And I said, no. The answer is that, we're all going to die one day.
Amen.
He was atheist, his wife was Catholic. I got a chance to speak to him for, 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. But the little sign drew him, the sign you had on the dry erase board drew him in. So you never know how God in His sovereignty is going to use the dry erase board. Now we have a guy back home, Greg the preacher. He likes to use his signs pretty provocatively to kind of not stir people up, but to get creative with using your sign, your dry erase board. Let it get the creative juices flowing. Okay. Oh, okay. This is a point that you must understand. This is just practical. All right. So this dry erase board, it's not wind resistant. And if the wind blows at any amount of time, this thing is going to flop over, especially when the legs are extended out. It sits up about 5 feet high. Bobby McCreary sent me the link to this one. This is a pretty durable board. It's lasted me now for about a year. It hadn't come apart, which I'm very surprised. It hadn't come apart. But what you want to do is to find the center of gravity on this thing and to take a bag that has some weight on it, hopefully a bag with Bibles and tracts that's got some weight, and take your bungee strap and hook it to the top and put it at the center so it's not blown over by the wind. Okay, so wind will wreak havoc on your dry erase board because it's going to be bigger. It's not going to be wind resistant. So always think about how you can anchor those things down. Same things with signs. You guys have seen my signs and what they look like. Just briefly pull one out to kind of do some practical stuff for you. So this is one of my signs. You can go to Home Depot and get everything I have here other than the sign. You can find this, plug from my brother out out west. It's called Watchman signs. These signs are really good because they're sticker, right? They're waterproof. I have painted signs, but guess what painted signs do? They begin to peel over time, especially if you hold them here. I have one sign I hold at the abortion clinic. All the paint is peeled off of where I hold it. It's just white now and red everywhere else. It's just peeling. But these stickers don't peel. Man, Joe Toy and Bobby McCreary, Don Carnes, all these guys, they've been using these signs for years. It's like, man, where do you guys get these signs from? There's a guy out west that makes them. I think he's in Oregon, somewhere out west. You know him? No. But these signs are durable, man. They're waterproof. So plug for him. And he'll make you original signs, whatever you want to do. Put your website, whatever, your hashtag. But behind them, I just have simply Home Depot, not Home Depot, but it's like staple clips, office clips. And you get these little strings here from Home Depot. And so you don't have to drill a hole in your signs. You put the clips on the edges. And these bad boys here, they just adjust. They adjust back and forth. So if you've got a big pole you need to wrap it around, you can do that. If you've got a stool you need to wrap it around. And then they tighten. It just simply tightens. And you can loosen them and make them as big or as small as you want, so the wind can't flip them around and stuff. So you can get this at Home Depot. I think these little things here are like $4 or $5. They're not really expensive at all, and it helps protect your sign. It's not getting beat around. It's staying in one location. So that's just one point there. All right. So anchor down your dry erase board. Find a way to fasten your signs to your ladder, to a pole, so they can be seen. Okay. Because if your signs in your bag, if they can't be seen, what good are they? Right. So, and that's going to move us on to tasteful signs. Seedshakers.com, he does make signs. Tony Denham, he's in North Carolina. But where I'd get my signs from would just be the Weitzman. Weitzman.com. I need to send you guys a link of where those signs come from. You can get them in blue, red letters. And people read these signs. I mean, as you guys were out preaching, and I wasn't preaching, I'm out in the crowd handing out tracts and things. I had two girls walk past me and they go, "The good person's test. Do you want to go take it, Becky?" And they walk away. But they're reading these signs. And as you guys are out preaching, they're going to read your signs. If they have scripture on them, they're going to read them also. PA system. This may be a little controversial. Some of you guys may not agree with this or not. Follow your convictions on this, follow your conscience on this. But I believe in giving the heckler a PA system, giving him a stool to stand on. Because what you're doing there is you're allowing him to come up and draw a crowd. You don't support what he does, but if he wants to be a fool, you know, he can do it. He's going to do it either on the ground, he's going to do it on the stool, either way, so he's going to do it. Let him come, let him speak, let him dialogue with you, because once he gets in that PA system, he's going to draw a crowd, okay? Because he's going to be loud, he's going to be boastful, he's going to be proud in his lies and his suppression, he's going to be bold about it. And when you give him that PA system, your crowd's going to go from 5 to 50 probably instantaneously. Because people don't want to, this is just honesty, okay? People like conflict as long as they're not involved. That's just the bottom line. And as long as you are that 2 Timothy 2, 24 through 26 bondservant, and you can teach, and you can take opposition, and you have thick skin, and all those things, God can use this for His glory and His honor. But you've got to have a way to shut him down. Because if he's one of those hecklers who won't shut up, guess what? Now this guy's got a mic, and he won't shut up.
So what technology do you use that has 2 microphones and a shut-off switch?
I'm glad you asked. There's this new PA system out that's designed by Bluetooth. So your microphone and your mic stand is Bluetooth. So his microphone is Bluetooth. The headset you have on ties into a little transformer that's tied into a PA system. I can send you a link for it. I have not bought it yet, but I've heard a guy tell me about how to use it. So I can try it out and get back with me in a month. But the speaker sits near me. So if I need to shut him down, I just simply go back there and hit his Bluetooth switch, and he's off. And you're going to have more than you out by yourself. Hope you won't be out by yourself. You'll have a team with you. So just tell the person, listen, if the heckler comes up, just go around, show him how to flip the switch and kill his mic. And you can still talk. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I'll send you an email.
Yeah, the PA system's around $300. But if you can use it, buy it and use it in your area. Okay? Because God can use that for His glory. Okay? So review on that. There are 3 major things that you can use as a tool for the trade. If you don't have these tools, I'd recommend you get them. And this is why you need a team with you, because it's hard to carry all this stuff by yourself. It really is. It's exhausting. You know, I can see why bills that don't carry signs of stuff, because it's exhausting, especially as you get older, man. You don't want to have to haul all this stuff by yourself. It's exhausting. My wife said, you need to get a little cart that it has wheels on it that you can load all the stuff up on and just roll it. And if you can do that too. I mean, maybe that'll be easier for you. But listen, at the end of the day, we want more people to hear the gospel, right? That's what we want. So if we use a dry erase board, if we use signs, that will happen. But you have to invest some money, you have to invest some time, you have to invest some creativity to use these to the best of your ability. So those are just 3. I'm sure there are more than that out there. That's just what we use in the area that I'm in. You see the picture, that's me in San Francisco talking with a guy, and he was stopped by the sign in the lesson here. and me and him having a good dialogue.
Pardon, Tommy, what are the three again?
Oh, sorry. Okay, dry erase boards, signs, and a PA system. Dry erase boards, signs, and a PA system. And finally, dealing with toxic hecklers. I already touched on this, but I don't have to be redundant, so I'll just skim over it. You get a heckler out there who won't shut up, I call them toxic, okay? They're damaging, they're not helping anything, okay? You have hecklers who are not toxic, they're good hecklers. They make a statement, they ask a question, then they shut their mouth. I was in Myrtle Beach one time, and I shared this story earlier, but man, it was just so powerful. Well, I'll share another story. I was in Myrtle Beach one time, it's a little further down, and there was this guy came up, man, I saw him coming. He was eating dinner with his family, and I was on the corner of the Bowery. If you've ever been on Myrtle Beach, Alabama, the music group, they started a music joint called the Bowery in Myrtle Beach. And so I was on the corner, the Bowery was here, and then this restaurant was right on the corner. So I was on the corner where there were most people, just kind of hanging out before the music show started. And so I was preaching. Well, this guy was having dinner with his family. He stood up, put his dinner down, and came over to heckle. I'm like, boy, this is going to be animated here. I mean, he made the effort to quit eating his meal to come over. It wasn't like he was just walking past thinking about going playing skeet ball, and he came by. No, he stopped his meal. So he came over, man, he lit into me. The Bible is not what?
True.
T on the fight acronym. You're going to deal with those 5 guys. If you can get those 5, you're going to master, by God's grace, 95% objections out there. So I began walking him through why the Bible is trustworthy. And boy, he was boastful and he was arrogant, and people began drawing in. And I said, man, God is really doing something here. So within a matter of time, his heckling, my crowd went from a few measly 1 or 2 to probably about 30, 35 people with their hands folded going, all right, how are you going to respond to this guy? And it's something about that question that just draws people in. The Bible's not trustworthy. I think it, because you think about that question, because if they can disprove the Bible or throw the Bible in the garbage can as it's not trustworthy, they don't have to do anything, right? They can live in their own rebellion and live the way they want to live. So I think that question is really intriguing to people, that statement when it comes out. So he's there, he's heckling, and he's a decent heckler, okay? But as it goes on, he becomes a little more toxic. He won't shut his mouth, he's just yelling. He's got his shirt off, so there are girls around, he's trying to flex, and he was a little bony guy. He wasn't very attractive at all, but still he's just trying to be, he's prideful, he's arrogant, right? But finally one of my brothers gets very wise, and you can debrief your team or pre-brief your team on how to handle these types of toxic hecklers. So as he went to turn toxic, the guy who was with me, he knew what was going on. And it's like I didn't have to tell him, he just knew. And he walked over to me, he says, hey, can I have a conversation with you? And so the guy locked up head to head with this guy in a one-on-one conversation. But he'd already drawn the crowd. I mean, you got 50 people there with your hands folded, you know? So now I had opportunity to share the gospel with it. So that's one way to handle a toxic heckler. Have one of your people with you, try to pull him off to the side to have a one-on-one combo with him. And sometimes you don't have to break down and move. That's one way. So I was in Raleigh. This guy came up. He began heckling me, and I don't recommend you do this. I did this. I probably will never do it again. But it got to the point where I said, "Listen, you want to talk? Do you want to talk? You want to preach? You want to preach? All right, get up and preach. Tell the people what you want to say." And he got up. God's love. He loves everybody. He was drunk. God just loves you. All you got to do is believe in the love of God. And I let it go on for about a minute, him just being redundant. People were like, this guy's an idiot, man. He doesn't have anything to say. And finally I said, okay, man, get down. And he did listen to me. He got down. But you realize from that guy, and he kept asking me to share my testimony how I got saved. And I kept sharing about how I was on the bed of suicide, getting ready to take my life, but God snatched me out of my pit of depression and took me from killing myself to bring me to newness of life. After he asked me the 5th time to share my testimony, I began to weep because I was reliving my testimony 5 times. And I was getting so emotional that I began to break down myself. Now, between this whole circus that it went on, there was probably close to 100 people standing there now. And so now this whole circus that went on, and I'm there, an emotional wreck, And one of my friends, Doug, he's there, he steps up and takes him off to the side and has a one-on-one convo with him. And now I've got probably close to 100 people standing in front of me wanting to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so I was able to preach, but the story gets better. So I'm there preaching my heart out. I think I was preaching from 1 John, talking about false converts, talking about being genuinely born again, just giving it everything I had. You know, toward the end of the night I was tired. I was just pushing right at the very end. Go, go, go. I'm almost at the end, Lord. I'm just giving all I got. And at the very end, there were people lined up to talk with me. And I was like, boy, I don't know if I got anything left, but here we go. So the first two people that came up to talk to me, they came up to tell me how much they hated me. And they wanted to take the time to tell me that, how much they hated me and they hated the way I was preaching. And I said, well, you're entitled to your opinion. I disagree with you. I got to share the gospel with them again. And then they walked off. But the next guy, he had sat in church his entire life and he was a false convert. And he was struck in his heart. And he said to me, he said, Tommy, I'm concerned I'm going to go to hell. I don't truly know Christ or what it means to follow Christ. So I took time to take him through 1 John, the four major, what I consider the 5 points of 1 John that can show someone whether they're a false convert or genuinely born again. So I had opportunity to pray with him, help him, and then a group of like 25 people were behind him. And they were a group of youth who had been walking through Raleigh praying. And as I was there, they stopped and began praying for the whole situation. And there's no doubt, I said, guys, the reason why you 25 were here were to pray for the situation. And there's no doubt the reason that crowd was there probably because they were praying. That shows you how powerful prayer is. And so never ever hesitate that. So I know I've kind of got off on a little tangent. But the toxic heckler, be patient with him. Because if you have trained your team to such a point, they can manage him for you. You don't have to manage him. You try to do your traffic control, and if that doesn't work, let your team pull him off to have a conversation with him. If he can't get pulled off to have a conversation with him, then you have to pack up and move your stuff. But so that's how you handle the toxic heckler. Guys, I hope these lessons have been beneficial for you. I truly do. Yes, sir.
Question. So a lot of times in the Gospels, when Jesus interacts with people, it seems like they ask him a question. He answers, but he doesn't answer the question. He answers with what needs to be said.
Yeah.
Right. Do you ever find that helpful in dealing with toxic hecklers where, you know, they're asking a question, you can tell whatever question they're asking, but the real issue is, you know, they're angry in their heart.
Yeah.
Where you kind of redirect it. You know. So it seems like you're angry in your heart. What's the real issue?
Well, see,
yes, no.
The artwork of this is John, and you as a lawyer, you know this well, is being able to take a statement or a question and turn it to what you want it for.
Sure.
To make it allow you to make your point better.
Yes.
So as somebody gives me a statement, the art and the point I'm trying to hopefully communicate through these 10 lessons is the art of always communicating the gospel. So I want to take a statement, I want to take a question and work it, make it come back around full circle and bring it back to the gospel. So sometimes people, I may not answer their questions or statements directly because I'm working it back toward the gospel. And but I'm going to be honest with you, when people are asking questions out there, they're just throwing them out there like popcorn. They really don't care about the answers. They want to throw them out there to stump the preacher. So if you can give a 20 or 30 seconds response and move them on in their mental capacity and their cognitive ability back to a different point, which is the gospel, sometimes that suffices for them. They don't even want a real legitimate and deep answer. But you have it, hopefully by God's grace, you have it from the scriptures, but they don't always want it. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully these any other questions? That's a good question. Okay. Hopefully these lessons have been beneficial. Take this and use this to disciple other evangelists. This is a gift from me to you. Use it. GGM does have a copyright on it, but you've gone through these classes, you use them. If you need the Xerox, copy them, use them as you see fit to teach and disciple other evangelists. If you want me to come in and help your church in any way, if your pastor wants me to help, hey, feel free to call me up, use me as you see fit. I try not to overpack my schedule during the year to love my family. I don't get these years back with my girls. So we can do it like I'm scheduled for 2019. I'm not doing anything else in 2018. It's full. So just let me know and we can talk. If you ever have any questions for me, you can always contact me on my cell. I text don't leave me you can leave a voicemail, but I don't really get back with voicemails. I'll send you a text or send me an email. I'll respond back to email. Tommy@gospelgm.com. No, I love you guys. I appreciate you. And once again, if I can help you in any way during your journey on this earth and sharing the gospel, just let me know. And I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Don.
Very well.
Good job.